Well, here we go. Anita Squeeze. It is the man himself, Josh Lewis. Man, I love the video. I love the song. I love the, the sound you guys got. Of course, you're a veteran of the LA scene
Yeah,
and
thank you.
coming up through Fairfax High. Talk about, the idea behind, forming this group, putting it together, and even the concept of the name.
Well, it's been a long road to get to this point because I've always been a guitar player, and I was in a band in the 90s called Grace Period, and we were really good. It was a really great band. I was playing guitar, but unfortunately, drugs with some of the members tore the band apart, and it fell apart. And all the bands I've ever been in up until that point, I was just playing guitar. The other guys, there was always a songwriter. In the original Warrant, it was Adam, then Janie came in, and then I had another band was another songwriter. And then in Grace Period, we had a songwriter. And so when that happened, I realized, you know what, I'm depending on other people to make my career happen. So I said, I'm gonna start singing. Now, that was the hardest thing I've ever learned to do. It took me a long time to become audible, because as I stated before, I just didn't have enough money to buy, go with Seth Riggs or the most expensive singing coaches. And anyway, it took me a long time. So finally, when I got to a point where instead of hearing people talk while I play live, I started to hear people listen, or see people listening. And then it went from, you get off stage and people are like, that was good. And, they're just being nice. And then eventually it got to the point where like, that was fucking great. That was fucking awesome. And you can feel their enthusiasm and you feel really like they're telling the truth. So once I got to that point, I said, I have to start a band. And I just started, I had been writing and writing music since I decided I was going to be a singer, but it wasn't until I could actually sound good that I said, now these songs need to be heard. And so I have, a good 7 or 8 albums worth of material. The songs on our first EP, which just came out, are 5 songs. Some of them are a little older than others. Some of them are my first songs ever written. And some I wrote just a couple, months before recording. So it's quite a range in the 5 songs of when they were written. But they're really, really good. I'm really excited about this band. I've got some great musicians. I have an amazing drummer named Brent Terry. I have a fantastic bass player named Lex Wolf, who you'll see around town. She's playing with everybody she can, but she's also playing with us. And then an amazing B3 player named Mark Brown. Mark Brown is the most authentic keyboard player I've played with in a long time. And I've had some good ones. But I love that old soul kind of thing, and he's really all about that. So Throw Me a Line is our first single. The album is out. It's on every platform. You can listen to it on SoundCloud. You can download it from iTunes or you name the rest, Spotify, all of it. Our website is ANITASqueeze.com. And, I always like plays. I always like the concept of play on words, like there used to be a guy whose name was Chuck Wagon, and I just thought it's funny to have something that has sort of a double meaning. And so I always liked the name Anita. I thought Anita sounds like I need something, but I couldn't figure out what it was going to be. And then a friend of mine, actually, I heard Squeeze Box by The Who. And I was like, I need a squeeze box. I need a squeeze box. I thought that could be kind of fun. And then I was telling my friend about it, and he goes, what if it's just Anita Squeeze? I'm like, that's it. So that's the name. I got to thank my friend Paul Riopel for helping me with that. But anyway, so I've been recording it. A lot of it's been done in the studio and in my home studio as well. And I got very blessed because I met an amazing engineer named Dave Dominguez, who's worked on Chinese Democracies, or Papa Roach, so many great artists. And he said, you know what, I really like the songs. I'm going to work with you on this, and we're going to make it sound amazing. So very proud of it. It sounds great. And we're playing everywhere we can, and we're promoting the hell out of the album right now.
Oh, hell yeah.
That was a mouthful.
I'll give you another connection that I thought of, with the squeezing the oranges and all that. Anita Bryant, back in the 70s, she was the queen of orange juice commercials. Remember her? She was like a beauty queen or something, and dark hair, and she'd be holding you know, the oranges there and talk about fresh squeezed orange juice. And I don't even know, you know, what the brand was, but Anita Bryant. So Anita
Yeah.
Squeeze right there is something else I thought, you
My
know.
daughter has a teacher for her cheerleading, for cheer class, and her name is Anita Bacon, which I think is funny. Anita
Yeah, well,
Bacon.
Chuck Wagon was actually in the Dickies, the LA
Right.
punk group. So
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of them
Yeah.
had these crazy
So,
names.
so hopefully everyone will take a listen to the music. Throw Me a Line is our first single. Don't Let Your Lovin' Go Bad is the next single. And, you know, it's really song oriented. You know, I mean, I love a great guitar player who can shred, but something about, you know, just making that note sing is kind of the approach I took for most of the guitar work on it. And, you know, there's a few, you know, faster solos, but it's mostly about whatever caters to the song. I really believe that, you know, we have so many different genres of music right now. And the one genre that in my mind really stands the test of time are kind of mid-tempo rock songs, you know, and also, and, you know, and a few faster ones and a few slow ones. But it seems like, you know, you look at some of the greatest bands in the world, the Stones, the Beatles, whatever, and I'm not comparing myself to them because they are, you know, obviously legends, but, you know, having something that's just memorable and strong and has a good hook, something catchy, means something, you know, not too much about a style, but more about the song. I think those are the kind of songs that last longer. And I hope that these songs have the opportunity to mean something to people and last longer than just, you know, a season or whatever it is.
Well, there's no question about it. I always say that songs is what people fall in love with. And then they say, well, who does that song? You know, and what else they got? But if you don't hook them with a song, then you're just one of the other billions of bands out there bashing it out. And
Mm-hmm.
like you say, there's so many genres and all that. So no, I'm a sucker for a good song. And
Yeah.
I liked what I heard, man. And
Thank you.
it's
Thank
the
you.
fact that you've got, you know, a little pedigree here coming up in the LA scene, man, makes it even that more interesting, you know.
Thank you.
People definitely want to hear your story. But
Yeah.
yeah, Anita Squeeze is quite a name and a concept. And, you know, the songs are, I'm sure, only the beginning. I'm sure you're working on new songs. Do you think you'll do another EP, or you think you're going to try and stretch for an album? What's the next move?
Yeah, I chose an EP because I see a lot of the young bands that come out today that are rock bands, for instance, Greta Van Fleet and Dirty Honey and the Struts. They all sort of came out with an EP, and it really broke through. And so that was kind of my idea on that, but definitely want to do a full length albums from this point forward. And like I said, I could probably do another 7 albums filled right now. And I would be confident to say that most of the songs are at least likable. There's probably a few duds in there, you never know, but yeah, I want to do full length albums. And I want to do it, you know, in the right situation as well, you know, like with real, you know, professional producers. You know, Mutt Lang comes to mind. Is that thinking too big? But there's so
Yeah,
many others.
I haven't seen Mutt too active lately, but
Yeah, he might do it for
you
a
know,
good deal
you can always strive for the greats.
right
Like I
now.
said,
Yeah.
I'm friends with Steve Thompson, who mixed Appetite for Destruction, produced Bowie and Jagger and Tesla. And I mean, his credits are absolutely ridiculous. And he's approachable, you know,
Mhm.
and he loves the Struts, you know. I think there's a number of new bands out there that got some good songs, got some great energy. And last time I talked to him, he said, yeah, man, I'd love to, you know, get the Struts in the studio or something. So, you know, somebody like that's approachable. And,
Yeah.
you know, he may not have Mutt Lang's credits, but Mutt ain't hungry, you know. And I'm not going to say Steve Thompson is that hungry, but he is still cutting new bands and stuff. And
You know,
I,
I use
I
Mutt
love it.
Lang as an example because when we were coming up, I mean, he was the guy, right? You know, and to me, he was my Eddie Van Halen of producers. You know, he was the king of it. Of course, I'm open to other things, so maybe you can hook me up with your friend.
Yeah, I'd love to. You know, it's like
Yeah.
you know, with Def Leppard going out on the stadium tour with Motley Crue and Poison, you know, those songs that Mutt cut raise a really high bar. But Joe Elliott and the guys pride themselves on their vocal ability. Yeah, that Phil Collin and Vivian Campbell are amazing guitarists, and the only band I know of with a one-arm drummer, and Rick Savage on bass,
Yeah.
but they really pride themselves on their vocal ability. And I know it's because of much production that they have to live up to. And for anybody to think, oh, it doesn't sound like the record, you fucking kidding me? Mutt put them through thousands of takes and millions of dollars of production. And, I think, some of those albums took like 2 years to make.
Yeah.
Who cares if it doesn't sound like the album? That you want to listen to the album, go listen to the album. But live, they still cut it live. And that's amazing. And it's a testament again to the songs. They could have just been another band with a bunch of, soloists and wankers out there, but they love that British 70s sound, and they came up with Bowie and all that great stuff, T-Rex and stuff. And they love a good song, and like you say, it really is the root of it all. So Josh, you're definitely heading in the right direction. Anything we can do, we're going to spread the word, put your name out there, and look forward to our next conversation, man. Any big shows coming up, anything that we can turn you on to, I'll definitely be in touch. I'll definitely put Steve Thompson on your radar, and then some. But yeah, likewise, man. I would love to network with you and any of your other people that you came up with, and any people that you network with, man. We love to talk, and we want to keep the rock forever, man. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thank you so much for contacting me. I'm really thrilled to be here. It's awesome. And you're a great interviewer.